Okay, so I'll start with XRP, and I'll start with this chart, and I'll do a little zoom out, and this is on the daily, and again you can see the bear channel, the whole bear run as it's moving along. So we're down here. So one of the reasons why I'm doing it is you can see from the top to the bottom here, it got the fibs on it, and at the moment we keep floating around the 618, and I believe we're looking to form a head and shoulders. So when you zoom in, you can see a shoulder, a head, going back for another shoulder. I believe we're going to have a wick down here, which I'll show you shortly, and then a lift back up, back down again, and then I do believe that we're going to spill, and if we do spill, is from just like this, put it here like this, is the target. With this, let me make sure I get this right. Yeah, there we go. I reckon the target will be down around the 702, around 25. Target here is 24.50 or so. So that's the potential target if this head and shoulders does fully form and then complete and drop down. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. Obviously it can go up. If it was going to go up, I suppose very simply is, look, you can see a level through here. The next level up will be up to the 05 here at 45.66. And we really wanted to take a lift up is we'd be heading up to somewhere around the mid 60s, yeah. And again, that would be the 382. So there's the 05, there's the 382. Is we could be taking a lift up here. I think at some point we will. I'm just not sure whether we're going to do it now or not. So now when I zoom in, again, there's that drill. Sorry about that. Lots of building this morning. When I zoom into this chart here, is you can see the. I know there's a lot of lines. It's fairly straightforward. The red lines are the ascending channel. The blue line are the descending. The blue ones are long-term ascending. Then you have these white lines, which are the support and resistance. And when you zoom out, you can see it like that. Yeah? See the red, see the blue, see the white. Yeah. It is always a challenge to be able to hold all that in your mind, in your mind map, but you get used to it. So now, when I zoom in, let's go back to the 4 hour. When I zoom in, is you see these light blue lines are the local support and resistance lines. You see the top, support and resistance, support and resistance, support and resistance. Yeah. So now zoom in just a little bit more. Is you can see this ascending channel here, and again, you got to break out of it. You got to break out of it here and drop down a little bit lower. Yeah, I believe we're in this very similar pattern here, where we're due. I think we're due a drop out of it. Yeah, so I believe we're going to come down to around the 30 mark, maybe a little lower, and then we'll head back up into the channel, and then we'll have our break up. So possibly down to 30, and then we'll head back up to 36.50 or so, yeah. And that will be part of setting up that bigger head and shoulders, yeah. And that'll be the peak, and then we'll see from there. After that is then I believe we'll have our bigger move, yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. Oh, there's that second drill. Sorry about the noise. Is now. I set a short here at 33. So now, and I have my target at 30. Now look at this. Here's this wave here, yeah. So when I put a fib on it, there's the 786 target. It offered me a very sweet 50% profit there. Maybe I should have took it because it came back up. Look at this, brutal. But watch when I do this here. So this wave here, and I put the fib on this one, all the way back up to the 786 again, yeah. So if I just kept trading the swings here, I could have had another long in there, yeah. So now is here. So now we have a bottom here. Looks like we have a top here. So now when I put the fibs on it again, what's the likelihood of it coming down and hitting the 786 here again at 31.52? Again, back onto the yellow channel. Potentially this time we have our breakout and we come down and hit the 30 mark, possibly the 29 mark. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at. Yeah. When I go into the MAs, again the 4 hour just turned. But before I go to the 4 hour, let's just do the daily. Let's do the daily because the day changed. So the day turned. These guys were down. Now they're up a little bit. And again, you can see the 10 coming in strong here. So yeah, bit of a battle going on. There was again, because of this pressure, there's a push up, there's a push down, there's a push up. You can see why it's bouncing up and down and moving much faster than it did these couple of days. So now let's see the story of the rest of the hours today. Yeah, but you can see the support under here. It had a push down. It's coming back up, and now it's coming back down again. Yeah, so a bit of a yo-yo. Is if we look at the 12 hour. Again, the 12 hour, you can see the resistance of the 20 EMA. Now the 20 MA is also coming down pretty strongly here, yeah. But look at the support of the 5 and the VWAP, and then the 10 here, and then the medial line. So you can see a bounce up close to the Bollinger here, came down, spiked through, came back up. And the question is that will it get the push through? And the bottom of the Bollinger on the 12 hour today is 30.64. Let's have a look at the daily actually. The bottom of the daily is 30.01, yeah. So now I will go to the 8 hour just to see. And again, the 8 hour is this just turned. So you can see the 5 is pressing down, the 10 is pushing up, view up sort of in the middle here. Is the initial, this literally turned 20 minutes ago. The initial lift is up. As you can see that the 10 is getting the pressure, yeah. So within the 8 hours, at some point the 5 will take over as well. So the 10 is getting the first go at lift. We'll see what happens within those 8 hours for what the 5 can do. Equally the MA here, yeah. So as much as there's a lift through here, you see this MA hasn't really surrendered. It got up once, after that it got pulled down again, and it keeps getting pulled down, yeah. Now when I go to quick look at the 6 hour, again you can see the 6 hour seems to be setting itself up for a bit of a pull down, yeah. And the VWAP here is resistance, even though price action is a little bit above it. Here's the 10 slightly up, there's the 20 EMA, reasonably neutral, and then there's the 5 turned down, yeah. And then here's the 20 coming underneath. So bit of a battle going on. You see the rejection here to 55. So now this is the one I'm going to focus on with regards to the breaking point. Is you can see that the ascending channel I was showing you there is there's the 20 MA and the 20 EMA, the white line, and then the pink line, yeah. So this is the support. The resistance is the 55 EMA, and then the 50 coming down here. So you can see the 50 has been a strong rejection. Is look at this last 4 hour, is it got all the way up here and got a very strong rejection down here. I suppose the thing I don't want to see with regards to the short is the price action getting above and turning this 50 into support. So that would be a challenge, because that would pull the price back up, and that could invalidate everything I'm saying about the pull down, yeah. So we'll see if you look at the 50 here, all the wicks that keep getting pulled down. So remember I talked about the 8 hour, about the 10 on the 8 hour pushing up. At some point the 5 will take over. So it's quite possible here that this here may actually turn into a long red wick and then come down. Maybe we'll see. I could be talking out of the top of my hat here. Yeah. There's the 10. Again, the 10 looks like it's resistance. The VWAP is resistance. The 5 has come up. I think the 5 has come up. Possibly the next 4 hour, the 5 will come down. And the challenge is to break through the 10 here, because you can see the effort to break through again. Look, it got support between the 20 EMA and the 20. Support again. Look at this rejection. So there's definitely a real battle going on. But at some point, something has to give. Something has to give. So I do believe it's a down. We'll see. There's the 3 hour. I'm just having a quick look at it. There's the 2 hour. Okay, the 2 hour changed as well there 20 minutes ago. And again, you can see that the 5 is coming in as a push down. The same with the 20 and the VWAP. But the 20 EMA and the 55 here, you can see that their support, and then the 10 is strongly pushing up. Yeah. So you can see there's quite a strong lift in that. And the 20 crossover to 55 here on the 3 hour. So that generally indicates a pump. Generally, although it's quite tight, you can see it's doing sideways here. Look at the pull down here, the lift up here. So again, I think this has to decide. This push and pull here, there's going to have to be a decision pretty soon about which way all these guys want to go. Yeah. Rather than fighting each other, they'll all take one direction and work together. Yeah. And the 1 hour again, yes. Look, there's them all binding together closer on the 1 hour, and this is where it gets a little bit difficult to read them, because they'll be down when it's this, they're up when it's this. At some point, the decision's going to have to be made. Yeah. One of the things I do notice is that it bounced off the bottom of the Bollinger here, came up to the top, bounced on the medial. You see the medial line there. Bounced on it, broke through, back tested the medial line a couple of times. It's back testing the medial line again, and if this holds, it's normally of an indication that there's going to be a push down. Yeah, so maybe we'll get the breakthrough here, or maybe it has to go back up and test this Bollinger Band again. But you can see it's holding on the hour. Look, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since it broke through the medial line, the last 6 hours it's been holding, yeah. And you can see the battle going on. So that's it. So I'll do a little flick onto the stochastics just for a moment. Just out of curiosity, because these were very just a daily, just for a sec. Okay, day is still on the way down. Looks like it could maybe turn there a little bit. There's the 12 hour. I know the 12 hour was on the way down. Did it make it down? Oh, sorry. 12 hour is actually on the way up. What happened there? Okay, my apologies. Yeah, the 12 hour is on the way up, not the way down. So yeah, we'll see if it'll turn here. This spike down to 30 doesn't need a 12 hour to come down. And then here's the 8 hours at the top. The 4 hour took a little dip down. Okay, so here the 3 hour actually came down. Sort of in the middle again, heading back up. 2 hours doing something similar. And here's the 1 hour. Here's the 1 hour heading back down again. Okay. And then let me just flip to the 15. So again, I'm not getting a really clear reading from them, to be honest. Yeah. At the moment, the 15 is, you see it floating around the bottom. Is the 15 looks? Again, again, you can see a lot of them, they're getting caught around the midline or slightly below it, and there's a bit of a battle going on. I suspect that they'll with the drop, it'll pull them down, and that will give them the space to head back up. That's really what I'm looking for, to get the hour down, the 2, the 3 hour, get them all down here, so that when it does its wick down, is then they're all free to go on that bigger run, that bigger lift up. Yeah, and not for the 15. The 15 is much more local time. But you can see that the 15 is trying to get down, and then it's getting stopped, pull back up a little bit. So that you can definitely see that the battle's going on, yeah. But again, the 15 is after turning. You can see that big move. You see when the hour turned, the first 15 minutes it turned like that. Remember I told you it was like the 10 on the 8 hours giving it a push. It's quite possible the 5 on the 8 hours gonna, in the next 15 minutes might pull it back down just as strongly. And you can see it playing out here, yeah. So then on the 5 minute, 5 minutes at the top, and again look, the 5 minute looks like it needs to head back down pretty soon, yeah. So we'll see what happens. It might have done like this here might actually be like a 1 minute impulse, and if you go down into 1 minute, you'll see the whole wave pattern play out here, possibly. So yeah, I'm being a bit long-winded. I'm going into the granular a little bit more than I intended to. So I will wrap it up. I am going to do the weekly overview just after this. Yeah. So generally is maybe we got to go back up and head up to the top of this line one more time. I don't think we do. I think we're more likely to be coming down to 31.50 or so. The question is, when it completes this wave, when it completes it, is will we get an extension and it actually break out and come down and hit the 30? That's the question. I do believe it will, but we gotta just be patient with it, yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. Is if I'm talking nonsense. If I'm talking nonsense and it decides to turn and break up, is initially I think we'll get a lift up to 34 and a half or so. We'll probably again get a correction here, and it'll just wave up, and it'll move up to the between 36 to 37. Yeah. So yeah. So if it does break to 33. Is I do believe we're heading up to 36 to 37. Is we need to break the 31.50, the 31, and then I think we're going to probably head down to between 30 and 29. So that's the space I think we're still in, yeah. So that's it. That's it for now. I'll pass you over to Mihaela, and I'll chat to you for New York on the weekly review later, yeah. Okay.
Super. Good morning, guys. What a day yesterday was. I was thinking about it this morning, and I didn't get to say it to Roy. It felt like a Friday in terms of movement. It was, everything came down very fast and then up very fast. It to me it seemed like an order settling day. It was the first day of the New York starting yesterday, so there was a lot of the month as well. Yes. And there was a lot of volatility. Now, I'm gonna do a short study today on Bitcoin's fib levels, because Roy was telling me how XRP is very consistent, and I haven't noticed the same consistency with Bitcoin, but I'm pretty sure there is a pattern for us to pay attention to. So yesterday we came down to a 702 retracement, and this bottoming out here was very tricky to see. Now with hindsight, it looks like a nice W. I texted on Discord for you guys to secure profits the moment it came above this little don't know what to call it, the mid peak of the W. So that's generally the invalidation point for M structures. So if this could have been, and I expected this to be an M structure, going up. Come on. And up, a down, an up again, and then a down to the 786, which is the more frequent retracement level. And it would have been in line with a trend line that I had in. But instead of doing that, what it did was it broke this peak, it consolidated on it, and then continued upwards. So that's when I would take all my profits, and I would take all my profits, or I would secure them, which means putting a stop loss here, and if a little bit above, and if it decides to go back there, then it's my profits from the top to there are secure. However, I'm giving it space to show itself, because not all days are as volatile as yesterday. Like yesterday was particularly abrupt. Going back into the channel that we've been in, I was really impressed yesterday how the channel held, and we're still in it. We are still within a range. So despite the volatility, we are still within the range. And by the range, I mean between 19,000 and 21, yeah, I'll say 20,500. Yesterday we had a higher high. It threatened to break out, it threatened to keep it, but then it broke back into it. Now it's again looking like it wants to break through upwards from this channel. I personally at this moment I don't trust this break upwards. I think it's an aftershock of the lift that happened yesterday. What I, again, based on the patterns that I've observed, so more based on my experience, I would say we're gonna go test the bottom line of the channel. Now, if we get rejected here, and do a lower low somewhere around 18,500. That's what I've noticed happen before a more significant break upwards, because again we're waiting for that relief rally, which I think will happen. I'm not sure it's gonna happen now. I think there needs, like last night was a stop loss hunt here for the shorts, so shorts that came in here at the top of the channel looking to come down to the bottom of the channel. They were either stop lossed out, or they took profit, or whatever happened here at that limit,
or they're hanging in for
or they're hanging in for dear life. Yeah. So that's why I always say for channels, it's safer to have your money in your pocket at the midline, and then you wait to see what happens, because something like this can happen. Now, the point I'm trying to make is we have two possibilities for today. The one that I find more likely is to get rejected here. I think we've already sort of like made a bigger M formation with the previous one, and then come down for the bottom of the channel. And it would be, now this lower low is going to be only a slightly lower low, the way this higher high was only a slightly higher high. That's, again, I've seen this happen. I've seen this happen quite frequently. For instance, and I'll show it to you back tested quickly. This one here was a slight pierce up. This one here was a slight pierce down. It's not uncommon to see a very similar range up or down. But yeah, so that's what I think will happen. Not necessarily today and tomorrow. So this might be a move over the next 2 days. Again, I would advise taking profit at midline and then maybe DCAing after the midline is broken if you've taken profit to maximize for the next move. Or the other scenario, which we need to keep our minds open to, because that might happen, we might get a We might get a break upwards, so consolidating here and then heading up. The initial place for I think for some more consolidation would be about 22k. So we need to hold. I'm gonna move this one 22. I think we need to hold the 22k range, and then we'll be heading for the 25. And I'll show you on the daily. I had a chart, a large chart. It's not here. I'll send it. I'll show it to you at lunchtime when New York is done. What I mean by that. Let's have a quick look at the MAs. Ah, there it is. Okay, perfect. There's my chart. I had it here as well. So what I mean by that is we need to get to break back into this. This is a daily channel. So from where we are here, we need to make a lift, and we need to break above the above this line, which is at 22.5. So, and I think that once we're there, we're gonna consolidate slightly and then move up to the midline, which is around I'd say 27. Again, 25 would be a level of support and resistance. Here, 27 would be the higher range of the same level, and it would be the 20 on the daily. At the moment, we are trying desperately to gain support on the why am I on the 4 day? Sorry guys, my brain's not fully awake. Sorry, that was the 4 day. So we're trying on the daily to gain support on the 20 MA, which would turn this into a very bullish scenario. We tried to last night, we didn't close, so that's why I'm saying what happened yesterday was very volatile, and I'm pretty sure some liquidity pools were drained in this, because last night went above the 20 MA, but closed below. And at the moment, the candle structure here on the daily on Bitcoin, this is a bearish candle formation. It's I think it's called an evening cross, and it shows a topping out in price. We need to see it play out though. We need to see the support being lost, and that's quite easy to see. The moment today, if we break below the 19,700, is the moment we lose the support of the 10 and the 5 on the daily, and that's when we might be coming down for a deeper correction around. I have a target at 18,700. So that's the downward scenario. The upward scenario is today we break above the 20, we hold the 20 today, we hold the 20 tomorrow, in which case it's a nice bullish scenario. Chances are we're going to keep going up, and the next target would be the 50 on the daily at 25. But it will be a journey there. It won't just happen all of a sudden. Ethereum's quite strong on the daily compared to Bitcoin. Ethereum is above the 20. It has plenty of support on the daily. It's getting close to a midline of a daily channel. So again, maybe that would be a point of possible rejection. But as it stands, if we're holding the range today, if we're holding the 1100 today, we're holding the support of the 5 and the 10. So that means we have the chance to continue upwards towards the 1250 area, and if that is held, the next one will be the 1500. So Ethereum has plenty of support. In terms of the daily MAs, in terms of the ranges, again, like Bitcoin, it's not looking so convincing, to be honest. Yesterday it dropped to the 702. It didn't have a W formation. Ethereum, it had a sort of like head and shoulders, reverse head and shoulders formation, and again, the way we would take profit here is if this line gets invalidated. So we break above it, we consolidate on it. If this line breaks, if this line is broken, then I would take the profit and or put a stop loss, because something like this can happen and you're quite close to your entry point when you could have taken some profit. I personally wouldn't jump into this kind of a long after a short, but that's again my trading choice, because again sometimes that might just be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would sit back and have a look to see what it's going, unless I have more yeses for that long. But yeah, we are trying to break the 1150 again. The way Bitcoin is trying to break that channel line, Ethereum is trying to break its own sideways channel line at 1150. If it holds the 1150 and if it manages to turn, if it manages to hold it, I would say we're continuing upwards, and the next one would be 1250, and that would be holding 1250 would be the invalidation of the downward move. That's where it is at the moment. So again, it feels like yesterday was the start of the week. It was incredibly volatile for a Tuesday. I take that volatility always with a little bit of suspicion. Something's about to happen. Let's keep our eyes on the support and resistance, both in trend lines and the MA. So when we see that the MA is being broken down, that's a signal that we're losing support. And again, if we see trend lines being broken upwards, I would wait for a confirmation, and I would wait for my 3 yeses there, because again things might be breaking due to volatility rather than a sustainable movement upwards. That's it from me. I'll see you at New York time. Let's see what London does. Yesterday was quite active. We'll see if it keeps the same, what can I say, spunk on today. Have a good day.